Let's talk to the one who's never left. Not because they can't, but because something deep inside is scared to go. This video isn't about shaming people who stay home. This is about understanding why some people never leave, and what that decision can do to your growth, your mindset, and your soul. Because this world is wide, and sometimes the place you were born isn't the place you were meant to become everything. This is Seeing Unlimited Greatness, and today we're unpacking why some people never leave their hometown, and what it really means when you finally do. Before we get into this life-changing message, take a moment to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and drop a comment below. Your support doesn't just help the channel, it helps the mission. Every like pushes this message further. Every comment becomes part of something bigger than us. We're not just creating content, we're building a movement. So show love, stay connected, and let's keep growing together. Now let's get into it. Let's be honest, home feels safe. You know the streets, you know the people, you know the rhythm of life. You've memorized the patterns, even if it's boring, even if it's toxic, even if it's limiting. It's familiar, and comfort is powerful. Familiarity creates a false sense of peace. It feels like control, even if it's quietly keeping you small. You don't have to deal with culture shock. You don't have to adapt. You don't have to explain yourself to strangers. But the real question is comfort worth the cost of growth? One of the biggest reasons people stay: fear. Fear of getting lost, fear of failing, fear of starting over, fear of leaving everyone behind, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being alone. But here's the truth. Most people who stay in the same place forever aren't staying because they love it. They're staying because they're afraid of what else is out there. You can't grow if fear is your compass. And staying somewhere just because it's less scary than leaving isn't peace. That's paralysis. Let's talk about family. For some people, not leaving is a loyalty issue. Why would you leave us? Who do you think you are? Everything you need is right here. Sound familiar? Some families don't understand dreams that stretch beyond city limits. Some communities guilt you for outgrowing what they've settled for. But listen closely. You don't honor your family by shrinking. You honor them by evolving. You don't betray your roots by growing wings. You carry the legacy forward. And sometimes loving your family means loving them from a distance while you become who God called you to be. Some places don't just have small populations, they have small minds. You know the towns? Same drama, same gossip, same bar every weekend, same conversations about people, not ideas. And when you try to talk different, they say, "You think you're better than us now?" No, you just think bigger than you used to. And when you think bigger in a small space, it can feel like suffocation. That's why so many dreamers feel depressed in their hometown. Because your soul knows when it's outgrown a space, even if your body's still there. Let's balance the scales. Not everyone who stays is stuck. Some are planted. Some people do grow right where they are. They build, they evolve, they serve, they lead, all from the place they were born. But the difference, they choose it with intentionality, not insecurity. They stay because it aligns with purpose, not because they're afraid of change. So if you do stay, ask yourself, is it out of love or is it out of fear? Because that answer changes everything. Leaving home doesn't mean you abandon who you are. It means you get to find more of who you are. You get to see how you respond when you're uncomfortable. Discover what you really believe outside of your bubble. Meet people who challenge your assumptions. Learn humility by being the outsider for once. Leaving stretches you. It peels back the layers. It forces you to become. There are parts of you that will never awaken. Until you walk streets you've never walked and hear languages you've never heard. Here's something no one talks about enough. Leaving home can be lonely. Because when you grow, not everyone grows with you. Some people will feel abandoned. Some will think you changed. Some will low-key resent you. And they're not always wrong. You did change. You did outgrow the group chat. You did stop going to the same places. But that's not betrayal. That's transformation. And you can love people deeply, without limiting your destiny to match theirs. This journey isn't just about geography. It's about calling. You don't leave just to escape. You leave because something in your spirit says, there's more. Ask God, where are you calling me? What season am I in? What lessons can I only learn away from here? Because God often uses movement to mature us. Abraham left home. Jesus traveled town to town. Even the disciples were scattered for a purpose. Your hometown may be your starting line, but it's not your finish line. The beauty is, you can always return. But when you do, you'll carry new eyes, new peace, new power. You'll see. The people you once envied never left. The things you once feared were in your own mind. The pain that once kept you stuck was a gift that moved you. When you return with growth, you don't come back to prove a point. You come back to plant seeds, to show others what's possible, to reflect God's glory through transformation, to be a light in the place that once felt dark. If you stay, let it be out of love, not fear. If you leave, let it be with honor, not pride. But whatever you do, grow. You don't owe your hometown your future. You owe yourself the chance to become. Some people never leave because they never imagined they could. Some people never leave because no one ever told them they were allowed. So here's your permission. You can go, you can grow, and you can come back, greater than ever. You ever feel like life took a turn you didn't plan for? Like everything you thought was stable, suddenly wasn't? Like you woke up in a season where nothing made sense anymore, and all you could say was, how did I get here? Sometimes we try so hard to stay on the right path that we miss the beauty in getting lost. Yeah, I said it, getting lost. Because believe it or not, there's an adventure in it. There's clarity in the confusion. There's growth in the wilderness. And sometimes, getting lost is the only way God can really get your attention. This isn't about a roadmap. This is about faith without GPS. Let's talk about the adventure in getting lost. Let's be honest. Most of us are obsessed with control. We want life to be predictable. We want timelines, blueprints, guarantees. We ask God to bless the plan, but really, we just want Him to co-sign our vision. But life doesn't work like that. Jobs get lost. Relationships end. Goals get delayed. People we love leave. And suddenly, we feel like we're wandering with no map. But maybe that's the point. Because if you never lose the plan, you never find the purpose. Ever been in a season where it feels like you're walking through a desert? No direction, no guidance, just dry land and silence. That's what I call the wilderness season. You're not where you used to be, but you're not where you're going either. You're in between. But listen, some of the greatest spiritual awakenings happen in the wilderness. Think about it. Moses met God in the wilderness. Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness. Elijah heard God in a whisper after running into the wilderness. You might feel lost right now, but maybe God led you here on purpose, not to destroy you, but to develop you. When you're lost, you don't just discover new places, you discover new pieces of yourself. You realize you're stronger than you thought. You realize the people you thought you needed were actually holding you back. You realize what really matters: peace, purpose, presence. You stop chasing what looks good, and you start seeking what feels right. You stop asking, how do I get back to who I was? And you start asking, who am I becoming? Because the truth is, getting lost strips away the ego, the titles, the masks, and it brings you face to face with your soul. Let me say something you might not want to hear. Not everybody can go with you on this adventure. When you get lost, when you start questioning everything, you'll notice something. People disappear. Some people only loved the version of you that fit their expectations. Not the version that started waking up. Not the version that started healing. Not the version that said, I need more, and that's okay. Sometimes losing people is part of finding your path. You don't have to hate them, but you do have to honor where God is calling you next. When you're lost, you start to listen differently. You stop listening to the noise, the opinions, the trends, the pressure. You start listening to your heart. You start hearing God again, not in the lightning, but in the quiet. You realize it wasn't that God stopped speaking, it's just that the noise drowned Him out. When you're lost, you finally slow down enough to hear. You start seeing signs you missed before. You start remembering things you buried. You start dreaming again, not what the world told you to want, but what your soul's been longing for. And it hits you. Getting lost wasn't the punishment. It was the permission to listen. There's a moment in every soul journey where you realize there's no map for this. No 5-year plan. No one-size-fits-all advice. No right way. That's the pathless path. It's the walk of faith, where you don't know exactly where you're going, but you know what you're leaving behind. You stop waiting for a perfect plan. You start walking. One step, one prayer, one breath at a time. And every step teaches you something. Not about where you're headed, but about who you are becoming. And then, one day, you look back and realize you were never really lost. You were being guided the whole time. God didn't abandon you. He was just quiet so you'd lean in. The pain had a purpose. The detour was divine. The delay was a setup for something greater. You thought you were lost. But really, you were being led. And now, you don't need a map. You have something better. Faith. So if you feel lost right now, good. That means the adventure has just begun. Don't rush to find your way. Don't panic. Don't go back to who you used to be just because it's familiar. Stay present. Stay surrendered. Stay open. Because getting lost might be the best thing that ever happened to you. You're not broken. You're not late. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're growing into someone stronger, someone deeper, someone wiser, someone more connected to God than ever before. So take a deep breath, embrace the unknown, and walk forward in faith. If you'd like to support the channel and help us keep pushing forward, there are links in the description where you can donate. Every contribution helps us reach more people, do more good, and keep this mission alive. There's also a store down below where you can grab something for yourself, or even better, a gift for someone you care about. It's a simple way to spread love and let someone know they matter. We're all just trying to grow, to become better, to rise above the noise and step into who we're really meant to be. And I truly believe change is possible, the kind of change that creates a ripple effect and helps others see the beauty still left in this world. This channel is about real growth, real transformation, and I'm here to give you a front row seat to what that looks like. Raw, honest, and grounded in purpose. God is within all of us, and my goal is simple: to reflect that light as clearly and powerfully as I can, for you and for the world around us.